Hey now, good morning. Happy Monday, PASW staff, clients, and our friends joining us for Film Scoring Monday. Please join in if you haven't. It's where we look at a scene and I take out the music and you come up with the best possible choice. And there's a prize, monthly prize for and I've seen a lot of progress and growth from many, all of you actually. So that's terrific. Good job on the general last week. That was so fun looking at Buster Keaton. And we're going to get right to work on a small little indie film that's one of my favorites. We're going to have a lot of fun, very classy, funny. We're going to just have a ball today. So today we'll be looking at the 1996 American comedy drama film, Big Night. Big Night is such a delight. It's co-directed, co-written by Stanley Tucci. Probably we know Stanley Tucci. He's Italian, born in 1960, and he was trying to get more work as an actor. So this was his directorial debut. So he co-wrote this movie and directed and co-directed it for a vehicle for himself, which is pretty great. Co-directed with him and Campbell Scott, who is going to be in the scene we're going to look at. Actually, he was a funny car salesman. Takes place in the 1950s, as you can see from that opening. In New Jersey, these two brothers run this Italian restaurant, and business is slow. And there's another one, a rival Italian restaurant, where it's kind of like, like a Buca di Beppo, and they're kind of like a, It's that same story where, we'll get into the plot, but the other business is doing much better than their business, and they might tumble if they don't get some people coming in to eat. So, film premiered at Sundance and made kind of a splash, nominated for the Grand Jury Prize, and then they won Tucci won the Independent Spirit Award for Best Screenplay. And this is about an artist and that problem that artists have with, do we sell out? Do we stay true to our art? That is Tony Shalhoub's character, who is Primo. Primo's the first, right? And Primo's the older brother. So it's two brothers, like I said, and Stanley Tucci is Segundo, the second. Primo is the artist. He's the perfectionist, and he's not going to change his... And, of course, culinary arts and all that stuff and skills is an art, as we know. Chefs are artists. He doesn't really want to compromise his art.
I just don't see anything that looks like a shrimp or a scallop. it's not what I expected. But I get a side order of spaghetti with this, right?
Why? Well, no.
I thought all main courses come with spaghetti.
Well, some, yes, but you see, risotto is rice, so it is the starch, and it doesn't go really with pasta.
But I don't...
Honey, order a side of spaghetti, that's all. And I'll eat your meatballs.
Yeah, he'll have the meatballs.
Well, the spaghetti comes without meatballs.
There are no meatballs with the spaghetti?
No, sometimes spaghetti likes to be alone.
Segundo Tucci is much more into... If you have to compromise, fine, because we have to keep this business afloat. So he's somewhere in between being more business savvy, but also being more of the realist, while Primo is more of the dreamer, so it's this dilemma between them. They're brothers, and of course they love each other, but there's a lot of conflict. Also, Primo likes Italy and likes they're immigrants. This is a common immigrant story where one person, a sibling usually, is like, why did we come to America? They treat us terribly. I mean, it's like, and Stanley Tucci's like, no, America is the land of opportunities and freedoms. We have to show them that we can do it. So it's this conflict of, why did we leave home to come to a country that doesn't understand us? So let's get over there. Let's take a map. Let's leave Oregon, where we looked at the general, and where they left that train in the lake for 20 years. Let's go over to New Jersey. This is where they open their restaurant. It's called Paradise. So this is Keyport, New Jersey, and like I said, this is 1950s, but it comes out in 1996. $4 million budget, but it makes $14 million. It does really well. And it's got a good cast. I mean, these guys and Isabella Rossellini, the lovely, beautiful actress. Mark Anthony is in there too, which of course he would go on to become a singer and married to Jennifer Lopez for at least a few seconds. They were married. So their restaurant's struggling. They need to make a change. They need more people in there. So one night, Stanley Tucci's character goes over to the Buca di Beppo type restaurant, and this guy's super successful. He's hilarious. He says a good line too, and this is something we should think about, because everybody's in the nightclub in his restaurant, and nobody's in their restaurant.
This is what I have to say to you. Give to people what they want. Then later you can give them what you want.
Good advice for artists, and so Tucci listens to that. This guy's kind of a weasel. So what he does is he says, you know what, I'm very good friends with Louis Prima. Louis Prima we did a class on, so we know all about these things. He was maybe one of the most famous jazz, jump blues, singer and trumpet players in the 50s. He was like Frank Sinatra. That's like on par saying. So he's like, I can get him to come into your restaurant, and once you get that, you're set. So he brings this kind of false hope. So he's like, this is their big night. Make a big dinner. We'll invite all, make it exclusive, and Louis Prima will come to your restaurant because I know him.
Un pesce calamere e triglia, le peschette stamattina, lo venimmo a bommerchetta, e perché gli ne spusiamo, pesce.
So, like in, even though the studios wanted to change the ending, like in true form, there's disappointment, and Louis Prima doesn't come. So it's bittersweet. There's a lot of emotion between these two brothers, a lot of conflict, a lot of, this American dream that is not coming true for them too much. It's very realistic and heartwarming in a sense. So that's what's going on. Music is by Gary DeMichel. Wrote a really great jazz score for this, and but the scene we're going to look at is the song is so lovely. It's called "The Road in the Woods," La Strada del Bosco, and it's sung by Claudio Villa. I never heard of him, and it sounded like a lot of people did until this movie. Was a great Italian-American singer, recorded over 3,000 songs, and so the scene we're going to look at is maybe halfway through the movie. And Stanley Tucci is just, like, again, he's torn between being loyal to his brother, but also trying to make his way as an American and as an immigrant. So he goes by this car lot, and he just wants to get a peek at, like, what's the American dream? What are these other people? They're driving these nice cars. Could I drive this car? So Campbell Scott, who is just a cameo in this, but he's the co-director in this, it's kind of a very kind of sleazy car salesman who doesn't remember how he broke his hand. We're not really sure. And he's just like, well, you want to take it for a test drive? Let's do it. So there's this brief glimpse of real happiness and freedom that Stanley Tucci's character has. So let's switch it up. Let's take a look at the scene just without any music, and you tell me what you hear. With the wrong music, it could be a different kind of movie. But they're smiling, they're laughing, there's slow motion, right? So it's kind of breezy. It's a breezy scene. It's the American kind of dream of of driving your car. We've talked about, I mean, LA, but just the country and the craze of the car and how the automobile was, everybody needed a car. So listen to Claudio Villa's song, and let's take a look at the scene again.
Vieni, c'è una strada nel bosco, il suo nome conosco, vuoi conoscerlo tu? Vieni, è la strada del cuore, dove nasce l'amore, che non muore mai più. Laggiù tra gli alberi, intrecciato coi rami in fior, c'è un nido
So come, okay? You bring a car, park it out front, and then see what happens.
I love Louis Prima.
Vieni, c'è una strada nel bosco, il suo nome conosco, vuoi conoscerlo tu?
I love it. Isn't it just so, it makes you just so, I don't know, the smoking, the laughter, the slow motion of it. It's just cool 1950s. This isn't classical music. This isn't Mozart. This isn't tense music. This is something that I want you to find a piece of music that is very much like this, that's very breezy, easy, maybe from the 50s, 1950s, and maybe 1960s. This can have words, you know, but if it is in English, make sure the words relate to it. If not, then, you know, it should be in the style where this movie would fit. You wouldn't put a Taylor Swift song in this scene because it doesn't go with the time period, obviously. So find something that goes into the time period, even if it's not the 1950s, if it sounds kind of classic and, you know, just, it's just such a fun scene. It's a freeing scene. We looked at the scene in Jules and Jim of them racing. There's just something so fun about movies where that you can pause. It's almost like you pause real life and you just are in this moment. And we've talked about that with Chopin, where we just have moments in life sometimes, or that's mostly what we remember. We don't remember the day-to-day things. We remember certain moments. This is a very fun scene because Stanley Tucci's character is getting just a taste of this American dream that he does want, but he doesn't want to completely sell out either. And it's a lovely movie. It's so good, Big Night. So thank you for letting me share this with you. And you know, let me know if you have questions, or you know, if you want to try different things, that's okay. But let's just make this a fun scene. You know, this is classy. This is yeah, okay. So get it to me tomorrow, and got a great week planned for you. Hope you're safe and well, and love you. And you know I'm going to be here tomorrow, so that's how we do it. Okay, take care. Bye.